Sarah. All day. Hell yeah.
Armwrestling's about to take place.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about now is me and Ian were on the phone, and we kind of were going back and forth with each other. And it was in reference to the Genadi versus Devon Larratt match. And one of the topics that we were kind of going back and forth with was in the first round, the second foul that was awarded, and that was to Devon. Devon went off the back of the pad. And when I seen it, Ian is saying that Devon shouldn't have been fouled on that it should have been on Genadi. But Devon received that foul, and that was the first round. That was the first win for Genadi in that, because it was 2 fouls. When I seen it, what I seen was Genadi was just going for the press, and he wasn't intentionally pushing the elbow off. That Devon kind of just went back and went off the back of it. So what I want to talk about, guys, is, I know the rules in WAF. It states that you cannot intentionally push your opponent off the pad. If you do, you will be a foul. But if it's not intentional and you're going for a move, then it's perfectly legal. And if the guy goes off the pad, it's on that guy. He has to keep his elbow on the pad. So I want to talk about this because when I put this post up and I asked everybody what the rulings are, it's like everybody all said with the intentional, you can't intentionally push, but there was also a lot of different answers I was getting. Half of the people were saying that it should have been on Genadi. Half of the people were saying it should have been on Devon. So I kind of want to iron this out right now because I don't want to have a problem when we have Jerry versus Hermes match. And that's why I got Jerry here. That's why I got Bob Brown in the house. I know Bob Brown knows a lot about the rules. And I kind of just want to throw this around everybody and kind of get everybody's opinion. So the first question for the room right now is, was the right foul given that day? And that being to Devon coming off the back.
I have a feeling they actually gave the foul to Devon when Devon's arm came off the back.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
And so I'm not that was the correct call. So I guess I'm not understanding. Are you thinking that Genadi pushed him off and therefore Genadi should have gotten the foul?
Okay,
That's
what
Ian thinks.
The rule is if it's intentional, right? If you push
I know the rule very clearly.
Listen to what I have to say with this, okay?
Okay.
When Jerry's doing a press, he is trying to press the guy to the side downward in a press, right? Okay. No matter what the physical, like unless the guy who's top rolling does like a lat drag and is trying to catch him like this, and he puts his own elbow off the back of the pad, that's the only way. Like if you're Genadi and you push the guy and Devon's arm, like Devon did not pull his arm back. Devon's arm went back. And the only way it possibly could go this way is that you intentionally do that, because
absolutely no.
Listen, I just went over this. There's no way you could press this way and have a guy's elbow go that way. It's physics.
Okay.
This is not this. And Genadi went. He was in. Think about how that first round.
Okay.
If that was true, Jerry would be fouled out on every match.
Exactly.
Ian, you got to hear us out though. For 35 years, Jerry would not have a win.
Buddy. Yeah, you need to relax, Ian. You don't know where this rule came from, and based on what you're saying, Jerry would be fouled out of every match he's ever been in his whole life, because Jerry pushes forward. He pushes forward sometimes, and if you calm down, Ian, calm down, brother, calm down. First of all, I want to explain where this rule actually came from. Okay, picture this: you're in a hook with your palm up, and you are really close to getting pinned. Your palm up, you're in a hook, and you went like that to drive your elbow. You're not going this way. You're simply going this way, palm up, in a desperation to push the guy's elbow off. That's where this rule came from. It was never when you're up here and going forward or backward, or I'm sorry, sideways. That was never the intention of this rule. Because if I've got your hand cracked back and I'm up top and I go straight towards you, I am absolutely not trying to push your elbow off the pad. I'm trying to break your arm.
Then they got to change the wording in the rules because it actually forward momentum.
I understand, and you're right. The wording sucks. There's lots of rules that the wording sucks. Okay, the rules are fucking terribly written. Yeah. But that was the whole intent, was to stop that.
But regardless, what got me fired up and was the whole like when Jerry, and I love Jerry, I think, but when he was like, I beat Genadi and Devon lost to Genadi, and I'm thinking, okay, did IQ drop suddenly? That first round, Devon was sitting pretty and was just trying to bleed him. He could have finished him, and then guess round 2? Guess what happened round 3? That could have been a clean sweep.
It could have been. So once again, why was Devon just sitting there trying to bleed him?
Phantom call that we all agree that call number 1 simply did, and if anything, it was on Genadi because there's actual video evidence of Gennadi's elbow coming out. So let's just be fair. Like, yes, the result was this, but how it came to be, and the fact that they don't do review, Jerry, you must be pissed off when they don't go to the camera when you request it. KOTT does, but East versus West don't. And it might be because of time strength or whatever, but when you're those two level guys, you need to be right. You need to go and say, okay, Devon, I didn't foul. I fucking didn't foul. He was right. Why didn't he review it?
Jerry, what is your thoughts on this whole this topic, bro?
Well, I know the only way someone goes against me is they're pulling their arm to the back of the pad and they're trying to open me up. So if they're going to the back of the pad, they're pulling me their way to their side of the table. And I'm still pressing towards the pin pad. And my pressure will switch from towards the pin pad to the edge of the pin pad that's on their side. But I don't push across the table. I push always left, right? Always left. But it could be left and a little bit north, based on how they open up and where they're applying their pressure as they're pulling backwards. It just depends. Like, I mean, look at how I got into a shitty position when I went against Georgie. And I mean, I know I didn't lift at all, but I was all the way on the other side of the pad, and I was still, but I was still pushing to the left.
Think about when you went against Travis in that $15,000 match. That was the same kind of shit, bro. He was shooting to the back of the pad, and that's kind of what I saw Devon doing against Genadi that day.
And then my match with Travis, he was trying to pull me off.
Travis was doing this. Travis was going like, whereas Devon was in the high post, and his arm literally went back because of the forward pressure. That's my argument.
Yo, the other match I want to put
spotlight Paul,
on.
1 second.
Sorry.
One thing that nobody is talking about in that match, everybody saw that Genadi had that elbow foul first. And if you watch that video carefully, he lifted that elbow intentionally to get the restart. So it was a big elbow foul. I'm 100% sure on this. He lifted that elbow to get the restart because he knew he was screwed in that position. And still that foul. And wasn't it Neil who claims to be the person behind this rule? He keeps on saying that rule was bad. Maybe he got pushed off the back of the pad a few times. And he was like, I was in the Congress, the rules meeting of WAF, and I insisted on this rule that if you push your opponent on the back of the pad, it should be fouled.
That rule should just simply not exist. If I'm East versus West, or I'm king of the table, keep your elbow on the pad, period. If it comes off, it's your fault. I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
Keep your damn elbow on the pad.
I agree with that.
So guys, we want that to be that way. So when Jerry and Ermi's match, man, we got to remember this talk, and hopefully Engen's listening right now. So Hermes, you don't hold that elbow on the pad, bro. You're getting the foul. So know that now, my man.
I agree
But
with
guys, the
I'm
other
just-
one I want to. This is the same
Right.
topic, but I want to bring this match up because I don't want to just focus on the East versus West match. They had that problem. The other big one that I seen was Austin Jaggers versus Tim Bresnan. You guys all remember that? And
No, but okay.
Tim and Austin. So Tim went off the back of the pad and he went crazy when it was Austin was actually just trying to press him. And he definitely wasn't trying to intentionally push him off, but Tim started yelling crazily at the referee, and he intimidated him that day. And they ended up giving it to Austin Jaggers, and Austin lost his match over that. So that was one of the big discrepancies where that rule came into effect, and it actually changed the outcome of the match. Guys, hold on before we got a super chat from X1348 for $5. Ask Dave Chafee whom pulled Revis. Devin. This is recent. We need this data. What does Chafee have to say about both matches? Thank you for that super chat. And another $5 super chat from Joe Fern for $5. Been trying to screw Big Daddy every East versus West, especially Big Daddy. They don't want to see Big Daddy win. So start making rules against his style. Thank you for that.
Well, I think that Big Daddy, and that is the one and only time I will ever call him that. Jerry, the way he arm wrestles, and everybody knows the way he arm wrestles, and he's right. Everyone goes running to the back of the pad while Jerry is pushing down, and I, quite frankly, don't care if Jerry's pushing forward. You know, he is trying to pin you. Maybe he's trying to pin you on his opponent's side of the table, between the arm wrestlers, not between the pegs, but between the arm wrestlers. He's pushing to forward left, but he's pushing to the pad. And if your elbow comes off the back, that is not an intentional foul and has never been interpreted as an intentional foul under WAF rules ever. So the fact that it is sometimes getting interpreted now that way is just wrong. So
I also think I agree with Bob that this shouldn't be a rule, because it, even if you're pushing someone, it takes a lot of strength, and there are some clear examples of pushing somebody off the back of the pad. Ryan SP versus WL, if you guys remember, Ryan SP versus Travis at the WL left-handed match finals, and Travis was doing this. He was clearly pushing off. One time I saw Jerry do that. It was against Genadi when Genadi's elbow was already off the back of the pad, and the referee was not calling it, and then Jerry was going like straight towards Genadi, and then he was talking with the referee to get those fouls. So I think it's clear when somebody pushes someone off the back of the pad, but still having it as a rule and never following it. I've watched maybe 10,000-20,000 matches at least, and I've seen 3-4 times that rule being followed, and the referee actually gives the foul on someone who pushed you off the back of the pad. It is never being followed. I don't know why that rule exists, and if Neil invented that rule, there has to be something shady about that.
I love it.